assignment 2 and research proposal that you need to submit. Okay, so I put the recording. Yes, I will tell that, Kelvin, for today's class. Okay, I will mention that in today's class. Okay, thank you. Okay, today's class we will continue on this topic, which is about research methodology. Can you see the slide? Okay, thank you. So it's
Yes, we can see, Doctor.
computer science. Okay, and I will go through this. This is from Prof. Rosni's slides. Okay, I will go through to you about what is the mean by research methodology, and a lot of students get confused with the research methodology and research method. Okay, research methodology and how you define the research methodology and how you will go on with to write research methodology in your thesis. Partly about how you're going to discuss about the methodology that you use. Okay, research method is just a subset of your research methodology. We will go that in a detail right now. Research methodology and research method the same? Obviously, it's not the same. Okay, research methodology is not the research method. Research methodology is a systematic way to solve a research problem. Okay, so in a research method is a specific method to conduct a specific task and activity in a research process. Okay, however, if you look, research methodology is in a wider scope, which is include research method, logic, and justification of a decision made, and provide framework of the research. Okay, basically, you need to make sure the reader or the person who going to read your thesis or your work understand what is the methodology that you use or how you're going to carry out your research in order for you to get that result or the result that you aim for. Okay, so that's how we're going to look on the research methodology. But I will go through a sample, not to say template, the template of your research proposal. In that, we also talk about research methodology again. Okay. What is research methodology? If you look, the section of chapter that describes how you conduct your research and why you choose to perform your research the way. Okay, this is very important, especially not only PhD, also for masters. Okay, when you have your research methodology, you need to mention how actually you conduct your research, and basically the point is here why you choose such a way to perform the research. It's very important. Okay, that need to be supported with sometime with the justification from the literature and things like that. Okay? You cannot simply say, okay, I'm going to do this, and based on the research methodology that this is the how I'm going to do, but there's no concrete. If it's a common one, it's okay, but if it is something that you knew it is going to be something new, then you need to mention how you come to that conclusion for you to, in order for you to do the research method. Research methodology. Okay, you need to convince the reader that you choose that best possible approach to answer your problem statement and also research problem. Your approach must be supported with justification from the literature. Okay, if you look, even yesterday, I have, not to say YY, some more to midterm presentation by a student of a group of students of CDS 590. Okay, those who are taking data analytics, they don't take this like CCS 591, but they do CDS 590. Okay, and they're doing midterm report. Yesterday, they presented. Okay, I asked 3 students, and I see a lot of PM night. Okay, so that's the reason I have some very busy week. Okay, even last week and also this week. Sorry for that. I take some time to upload your what do you call your slides and even notes and things like that. Sorry for that. Okay, especially the someone requested about the video about your WebEx recording, so I just managed to do that today. Sorry for that again. Okay, if you look in the term of the student who presented yesterday, what I see a lot of students they choose. Okay, there's one student, quite good presentation, but what she did is she choose different. Okay, out of 3 different methods, she just point out, okay, I compare these 3 different methods. But if you look, there is a lot of other than that 3D, what they call 3 different methods. I think she comparing, comparing with the SVM, another one, I'm not really sure about random forest as SVM, and another one, not sure another one. Okay, but I mentioned to him, okay, you have a lot of technique actually if you look in the literature, and why you only these 3? There must be a concrete reason for you to choose only these 3, and then you are going to compare. Obviously, you, let's say you have 7 technique, you don't want to go and compare 7 technique. That will take a lot of time. So there must be a reason for you to choose only these 3, right? So obviously your literature need to support that. Maybe they are the most commonly been researched, what do you call, research, or they are the most popular one being researched, or even they are the most updated technique that been researched in the right now. So something like that. So there must some kind of justification for you to do so. Okay, so that is one of them. Okay, another student is she used a performance metric. Okay, she used only RMSE and also MAE, okay, as a performance metric. And then I asked, there's a lot of performance metric to choose. Why you only choose these 2? And then she said, across all these technique, these 2 performance metric are been for every single technique or something like that. So she do justification. That's good, but still is lacking is MAE, because she mentioned she's going to use MAE, and I asked the student, do you know that MAE has something debatable question or some argument in the research, in the literature? Do you cover that? And she admit that she don't come across. Then I say you should go and look on, because MAE not something, researchers say MAE giving a wrong result. It might be the result of MAE. MAE mean error, okay? And that's how she that performance metric. So always want to question you, but the thing they need to justify and your literature support whatever things that you are not doing some wrong. You are not, that's totally very common. Use, especially in your research. Okay, some student until now we see some student are based on a questionnaire. They go deeper on a questionnaire and get that in their business analytics and even in the computer science. Okay, depending on your supervisor. Okay, if you come with me to with a questionnaire type of research and things like that, I won't appreciate it. Okay, because I'm not from the background of the questionnaire. If you go to different doctors, maybe the Dr. Atia, Dr. Haikal, they will appreciate a questionnaire type of research. It's not only questionnaire, there's other stuff you need to do, other tasks, okay? Spell out your idea clearly, how you intend to solve your research problem. most of the time, your research methodology is the part which is going to spell out everything. Okay, how you going to carry out your research in order for you to get the result, especially even your data set and all that. Justify the assumption you made underlying various technique you have chosen. This is what I always say. You need to make sure justify them. Why you choose that technique, even though it's a very technique, you need to make sure you have the justification to support. Okay, especially from the literature. State the justification for excluding method Y while favoring approach W. So this is again, if you say I'm going to look at the SVM and then random forest, how about linear regression? So you need to state the justification. Okay, reason for testing with dataset A, comparing result with method E and F using evaluation of metric M. So all this you need to have justification. That's what I mentioned earlier. The student, the girl, I think the student name, she's from Malaysia, but the Chinese student, Wan Jing, she used the performance metric. Okay. And then when I mentioned, she get it. What I try to what do you call, question her. So you need to able to answer them. Okay, you must able to defend your research decision. So basically, your paper, when not only paper, your thesis, you need to have at least one line or two line to support whatever method that you use. Not necessarily to support every single thing that you use. Whichever the common one is okay, but whichever you feel that out of 5, you only choose 3. So you need to explain why you choose only 3. And out of the 3, only one you're going to compare and something like that. So you need to really justify them. It is your idea. It's more likely problem specific. Its merit need to be evaluated by other researchers. Hence, everything need to be justified. So this is a problem. Okay, when you do, especially in PhD thesis, not even your master's thesis. Okay, every single thing that you do, you need to justify. Even let's say the numbers. Okay, let's say I want to do a small pilot test, and I just go for 20 numbers of let's say, not to say that I said okay 20 questionnaire. Okay, I send to 20 people. I want to get the data. So that 20 is also needs to justify. Is it enough? Is it small? Is it big? That 20. It could be that will be sufficient enough. Some research you will say that 20 will be not enough. It's not sufficient. You need to have more data. You need to have more questionnaire or things like that. So you need to justify. If you have, let's say you have papers who they already did, okay, IEEE, they in IEEE published in IEEE, and they use only 10 or 15. So your justification, maybe you have say such this researcher Barbara Kitchenham, Jogan Monson or something like that, blah 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 blah, 2021, and then blah 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 2022, Ali Abu Bakar 2023 or something like that, and then they are already did research using these numbers. So average I use 20, something like that. So you need to justify them. You understand? So every single thing that you put in research methodology must be justified. If not, it's going to be a loophole for your examiner to get ready with a machine gun to shoot you. You understand? So you need to be ready. Because especially by what time for PhD. This is a very popular question normally. It's, as an examiner, we always check the research methodology. Is it all been justified or not? Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir. Please, I need more explanation on this quantitative and the qualitative methodology, research methodology. What is their differences, and how the structure look like?
We will cover that one, don't worry. In your proposal side, we will look at the qualitative and quantitative. Okay. If you want
Okay.
a very general one to differentiation of qualitative and also quantitative, okay, the word itself, okay, quantitative means you need to go for numbers, okay, to give a better explanation whatever you do. Meanwhile, qualitative is more to in the term of how to say this quantitative more to numbers and qualitative more to the explanation how you get every single justification of your research. Okay, to show or to illustrate that, I will give you better explanation later. Don't worry. Okay,
No problem, sir.
it's a good question. Thank you.
Mm.
Who's that? Who asked the question just now? Who asked the question just now? Sorry. Hello. Can you hear me?
Is Jibrin, sir?
Oh, Jibrin. Okay, Jibrin. Thank you, Jibrin. Okay.
Mm.
What aspect to cover for methodology? Okay, so basically you need to cover research design, data collection or choice of data set, and also data analysis. So this is all the things that you need to look on the research methodology. Okay, basically your research design, your proposed solution in the term of the architecture, okay, of scaffolding of research, a chapter that holds together many aspects of your research. Basically your design, okay, how you're going to carry out your research. Okay, design decision of your model or even framework or even algorithm. It's the features, modules, function, and other characteristics need to be explained and justified properly. Cite with the evidence from the existing body of knowledge. Okay, obviously, every single thing, as I mentioned, it's not only about design. Every single thing that you choose for your research methodology, you need to cite them with the evidence from the existing body of knowledge, means from the literature, which really relevant, reliable, and also updated research. Okay, issue to consider include the study type, data collection, experiment, and also formal proof. How all these fit together and line to the research objective. Okay, basically your research methodology must be aligned. Okay, end of the day, your objective, okay, going to have certain what you call research question as well. So you need to map them to the research objective. So basically, your research module is going to cover every single aspect of this. Okay, from your research design, your data, everything. Okay, you need to make sure you explain in your research methodology. That's why it's always as a part of one chapter to talk about that in your thesis, normally as a research methodology. Formulative research to develop rhythm to recover transformation. This is an example of formulative research, evaluative research. This is partly just now. Jibrin asked only qualitative and quantitative. Okay, if you look, this is another example that we are going to talk about. Okay, Jibrin asked this question, but he's already out from the room. Hopefully, he will get back from the slide later on. This one. A formative research to develop algorithm to recover transformative metrics R and T for rigid registration problem. Assumption R and T can be derived by iteratively transforming source and target object. Okay. Quantitative approach optimization problem to recover R and T parameters, collect data via studies. Okay, this is example how they said. Okay, if you're talking about quantitative approach, that means you're talking about more to optimization of the problem. Yes, Jibrin, you back again. You're out when we have to go quantitative and also qualitative.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes, Raji.
Sorry, sir. Let me take over a little bit. How can one relate software development methodology to this research design?
Raji, if software development methodology, you go through different development. If you look in the software, there's a lot of different development methodology. Okay, you might go for a normal one. You say SDLC, software development lifecycle. Okay, or you go now very famous one, Agile. So you need to go and explain them first as an approach. What is the methodology that you use, and then you need to carry out to explain further about how detailed and that particular methodology that you use in your software development. Okay, Raji?
Can we discuss this under this topic, research design in our project?
So obviously, you can discuss in your research methodology part. Obviously, you need to discuss what approach you use. They want to know. Okay, Raji?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Next, evaluative research to study the impact of IT solution, okay, to organization project. This is all example, okay, how different research, okay. So basically, if you look as a Jibrin question earlier, what is the difference between quantitative approach and also qualitative approach? Most of the qualitative involve about survey, observation, the numbers. Okay, so when these numbers from this data, you can support your hypothesis. So that's go through talking about qualitative approach. But when you talk about quantitative approach, it's more to result based. Okay, how your accuracy been approved, how you looking at the methodology, using that methodology, how you get the how fast you get the result and things like that. That is more to quantitative approach. Okay, and then detailed design of algorithm and question sheet, survey polls, or instrument represent such as pseudocode, flowchart, this is a more to detailed design of the algorithm. You also can mention this, but it depends on your research. Okay, you not necessarily to do all of them. Maybe you don't talk about hypothesis at all. Maybe you don't talk about survey at all in your research. It happen. Sometimes you just focus on the framework. Okay, how to improvise the framework. They already existing framework, but what you enhance, what you improvise in that framework, that you can be also part of your research design. So basically, in a layman language, research design or research methodology, in the term of research methodology, what we are covering is research methodology. Part of it is research design. Okay, in your research methodology, in a layman language, what I will say is you try to justify how you carry out your research, and you need to make sure all of them have a certain kind of justification or proof how that suppose can be used. If not, you cannot use them. Okay, you cannot just simply pick any numbers. Okay, then the examiner will say how you get these magic numbers. Okay, so all this, even the approach. Okay, let's say out of 10 techniques or 7 techniques, you choose only 3 to compare them. So you obviously they ask why only 3, why not 5, why not 4, why not 7? So there must be certain kind of a justification. But it's your research. You can have a very sound, true, and also honest result. I mean, justification where you can present to them. But just simply just because that time you don't know how to answer, just simply give the answer. It's not right. Okay. If you don't know, just say, okay, I will check on that figure. Okay, I will check on that to in the literature to support that, even in during your Viva time. So don't pick up or just say blindly, no, actually, I can, you try to round the bush. That is wrong. Okay, please, if admit that. If you did, sometimes you do mistake, there is a time for you to do correction. So especially for PhD and even master mixed mode. So if you find there's a mistake already been highlighted, which is not been highlighted by your supervisor, by highlighted by your examiner, so admit that. Don't worry. Okay, so there's nothing wrong. Okay, normally when you go for Viva, you already consider 80% you are pass. Just that either you are what do you call I mean 80% pass. This is for PhD. Master mixed mode, you still can be failed if you even your call for Viva. But for PhD, if you call for Viva, normally your supervisor already said, okay, you're good to go. Normally standard, okay, and then you will have either you get normally very rare you get without correction and with a minor correction and also the major correction. Normally they give you some times also to do the correction. Okay, basically you need to get ready all this. Okay, I'm not scaring off or try to make you feel what you scared on the process of your getting PhD and things like that. But what I want you to be more alert and get ready for your journey. Very important. Okay. In CS, model or framework algorithm is abstraction or precise representation, the solution. Okay. Example, uninteresting is a value comes from showing how we solve problem and a functional prototype. Okay, so if you look, there's a lot of difference between our research compared to social science and compared to other field, business studies and things like that. For computer science, we have a different style of doing our research, and maybe in people in the business school, they don't appreciate our research. If people in what you call we don't appreciate those who are doing social science research and things like that, because their research maybe are very thick, maybe 300 page or 400 page or 500 page. But for computer science, we always around 150 to 200 page. Okay, I mean thesis. You might do a lot, but end of the day, your storyline will be around that. Okay, even my supporter, I think I already mentioned it. Even my supporter make it less. You want it to be less than 150 pages. Okay, so that it will be very concise. When you go, you can put everything you want to put, all the things that you, if you do 3 years or 4 years or even 5 years PhD, you will be a lot, right? They don't want that. They want things that really substantial for the thesis, which is can be highlighted. Very important. Okay. Next. So in terms of data collection, you also need to explain and also present what is the data that involved in your research methodology. Revolve on the issue around the evidence to support or otherwise reject your hypothesis. Example, addressing the research objective. So basically, all this you need to have them in your question how you get the data set. Even up to the thing that data description also need to be included in your research methodology part. Okay, some students get confused. Okay, they don't put it the data set in the research methodology, and then they go back and then when they discuss about data set, they put the information about the data set in the separate chapter, which is if I find it can be accepted, but most of the time in the Viva time we always check if the methodology side you need to talk about whatever about methodology very clearly, okay, so that is not confusing. But whatever you want to talk about later data set, you can refer back to the chapter 2 and things like that. Okay. Validity and reliability, if you look trustworthiness of the data, okay, so even that, even you are using data set, you need to justify why you choose that data set. Okay, is that data set is reliable, valid? Okay, how confident you are on the data set? How many papers already cite or already use this data set and give the result? Okay, you also need to consider the data set bias. Okay, whether there is any issue on the bias on the data set. Okay, because some researchers, they are very biased to certain or they are very prone to certain what you call technique. They might be very not to say anything, they may be very pro to such an example. They are maybe pro means they are not professional. They are more to what they call keen to always positive on that particular technique. Okay, let's say SVM or certain researchers, they always say good about SVM, but there is also disadvantage of SVM. Okay, SVM means support vector machine. Okay, so there you need to check and balance on that based on your research. Audit trail record every step taken, parameters used. Okay, several run, take average fair comparison with appropriate baseline. Okay, most of the time, if you want to check on that, you also can do if you want to go. That's the reason why you have, let's say, a big data set. You cannot just simply take one portion of the data set. You need to have certain randomized of the data set. So, okay, you can divide it on the data set, even make it on a different group of data set from the same data set. And then some point you also check on the skewness and kurtosis of the data. Okay, to check how spread of the data and things like that. That one is more to what they call. Is anybody ask question there? No, right? Okay. So it's more to statistical part about the data set. So when come to data set, you need to make sure you clear about the data set that you used. Okay, let's say you take from the data set publicly available. There's a lot data set on your research. Depend on your research. Okay, maybe you on your research you have more than 2 or 3 which is publicly available. So which one you want to choose, or you want to choose all of them and then choose one as your very prominent one, and then you try to test with another 2 or things like that. So all this you need to also justify. Okay, most of the time there's only one. Okay. Data analysis, explain how you will organize your data analysis. Example, if you follow formal proof method, then it's perhaps appropriate to apply complexity analysis, a big O notation. I think this one, a lot of software student will do that. Typically, quantitative and also qualitative analysis, basically in terms of statistical analysis, showing the correlation between the variables, summarizing data. Okay, because each and every single data set, even you try to use them, you need to give a certain, depend on the data set, okay? sometimes we go up to the standard of statistical in terms of what I mean earlier about you want to check how spread the data. Normally, I don't want to talk more detail about skewness and kurtosis. You can check on Google what is meant by skewness and kurtosis. You also can check up to that extent. Okay, but sometimes you also need to check on the data cleaning part. Okay, whether you do the data cleaning part when you get the data set is maybe a raw data set. Are they you try to exclude all these outliers? All these you need to okay in that cleaning process of your data set. Okay, it's not a data analysis, that is a data preparation. Okay, qualitative analysis like a visual comparison looking for non-occurring artifact or other visual qualities like a smooth curve and things like that, depending on the data set and depending on your research which data set you want to use. Okay, if you, let's say your data set there is a bell shape of the result or things like that, so which one you want to use? Okay, is it the peak or you want to use the average or you want to use the left and right and things like that? So normally we also use certain tools to compare them. Sometimes we also use R to check to check on the box plot of the data set, okay, to see what is the quartile of them, okay, in the term of each of the data. So but don't get confused, okay? Focus on your research. If it happen to be your, because I'm talking all this because based on my experience and things like that, so I know more about data set experience, okay? So a lot of research, sometimes they are involved a lot in the data set. A lot of research also not really concentrate on the data set. They might have a different aspect, depending on your supervisor, depending on what field you choose to do. Okay, some more to one of the contribution, maybe part of it is the development. Okay, after you get the or things like that. So you need to check on that. So don't worry about that. Okay, it depends on your research which one you're going to concentrate. To focus on your objective and also research. This is very, very important. Sorry, shouldn't say very, very. It is very important for you to focus objective and also research question. Your objective and also to your research objective for sure. Okay, so to achieve that objective, you maybe you have more than one research question. Sometimes, okay, maybe you only have one. Maybe you have a sub research question. So to answer that particular objective, normally for PhD, what I will encourage you to do is don't go more than 3 objectives. Okay, don't go, rule of thumb, don't go more than 3. Even for Master of Mixed Mode, I always say this to the students. Okay, in your proposal, in your midterm, don't promise too much. It's okay to promise less, but you deliver more. But if you promise too much and you deliver less, your grade is not good. You understand what I mean? So it's better to be safe side. Play safe side where you promise little, even though you think that is little, you can able to do more. Then you do more later, and then you say, okay, this is because I have time, then I do this. Okay. Then the examiner will be happy. Oh, you managed to do out of your research objective. Imagine you say all this objective and you only manage to do, then you say not enough time. That shows you're not that committed, you're not finished your task. Understand? After all, you the one decided to do that, right? So play safe, try to don't go more than, I see some students are very ambitious, they go until up to 5. I say, please don't. I even in a proposal review in the this one, I always try to cut down some of the this one. I said you're doing only one PhD, not many PhD. No matter how good you do, you only get one PhD. So of course, for your self-sufficiency you can do, but don't promise before you do. But it's very dangerous. It's like sorry to use this word. You try to dig your own graveyard, right? Which is not good. Okay, so be safe. Play the card very safely so that you'll be your journey will be smooth because you have a lot of commitment. Just try to love your journey and try to enjoy your journey while you're doing your PhD. If not, you have permanent head damage. Okay, so you don't want that. Okay, that's the synonym of the other word of PhD. Okay, because there's a lot of stress will coming in. Even though you have 3 objectives, it's enough stress. Okay, how to comply them, how to fulfill them. So don't go beyond that. Okay, unless you have a very simple objective, first one, which is you can cover in 1 or 2 weeks, and then you have another 3, which is very sufficient, then it's okay. Don't say your supervisor already give you 4 objectives, suddenly you say, oh, Dr. Kumar say only 3. Then my supervisor say only now 4. But when I look, maybe the first one is very not sufficient to be called as a one research objective. You understand? So you need to check and balance on that. So try to place it. Don't overcommit in your research proposal. Okay, that's my humble request and also my sincere what you call feedback for you and also take back for you. Next, cite relevant source to confirm that you follow established practice for this type of research. Confirm that you had evaluated different methodologies to decide on your approach. So basically, you can do all this, okay? But I don't want you to waste, so not to say time, don't do unnecessary thing which is not relevant for your research. So you can ask the question, so how can I determine this is not necessary, this is necessary? Yes, true. As a start, maybe you do a lot of unnecessary thing which is not being credited to your thesis, but it's okay because it's part of your learning process. But a certain point after you go to second year, you need to be focused on what you're doing. There's no more time for you. Okay, especially when you are coming with a government scholarship and things like that. You want to finish it up 3 years. The maximum you can go in 3.5 years. That's all. Okay. Another maximum you go stretch to 4 years. That's all. Don't go beyond that. Then your funding will be less, and then you cannot support. It's very more stressful. Okay. So please be aware. So first year, when you go to second year, you need to understand where you're going to reach. It's very important. First year, you're still okay. Read. The more you read, the more you feel stupid. It's okay. For PhD, okay? For master's mixed mode, you don't have that much time. Okay, what you need to read, whatever you understand or not, you need to accept them to make sure you go for next hurdle, which is next semester. You need to go for your CCS 599. Okay, so which is your dissertation. Okay, how much detail to write. If you are using a common method for the problem, no need to distill. Okay, no need for that much detail. Just the justification good enough. If you take an approach that is a lost common in your field, need to explain, justify your methodology choices. What is this mean again? If your research methodology don't explain unnecessary things, then the what you call how to define this. Okay, let's say Raji asks, sir, how about the development side? Software development, do I need to, okay, software development, let's say you use agile. If you put agile, what is agile, and explain about agile in a part of your research methodology, do you think the examiner will appreciate or the author will appreciate? I mean, the reader will appreciate? No, the examiner will say this is textbook material. Again, the word I used is here, textbook material. That means it's not really something from you, as which can be claimed or can be affiliated as a PhD thesis. It's something that you take from the textbook, you just put it, that is, they can scrap it out. They can mention it as a textbook material, happen. So you need to really check how much you want to read. If it is a very common, just don't need to go very detailed. Okay? And if you have in this research material also, if there's any obstacle for you, you can also discuss that. Okay, discuss them. Okay, so that you have made your approach as rigorous as possible. Very important. Okay, but sometimes we don't really discuss our obstacle in our research methodology. Okay, but obviously the reason why we want a lot of people want you to discuss, because at least other people who are doing the same research, they don't avoid to do the same thing that you do and then end up with that kind of a finding. So they don't want to do that. So you will save other people time in order if you give that obstacle and whatever your experience on the research. Okay, some of these part of the research methodology chapters you can have a look on the PhD thesis. Okay, how they do their research methodology. I think there are students already put the link on the research methodology. Okay, and sorry, the thesis. Okay, and I already check in the school. If you are in the USM, you can visit the school library, not to say library, school small like learning center, learning place where you all these thesis with hardbound been kept. So if you are still in China, if you are still in your country, maybe you can just use the link that been provided in the event. Okay. Any question until now? Okay, we are ahead on time. Okay, second
Hello?
be more to your
Hello?
proposal. Yes, Kevin, no for now.
I cannot. Hello? I cannot see any link on the.
It's not here, Raji. You always get wrong. In a Elan, can you see Elan? You know what it mean, Elan? Raji?
Sir, I know, sir. I will check later.
Ah, it's in Elan. I scared you suddenly when you ask like this, then I care whether you don't. Until now, you
No,
don't Elan.
No, I know.
Sorry. Thank you, Raji. Okay, so if it is still we still early, maybe I can touch a little bit. Okay, maybe I can touch on the. Okay, you need to, you know, if you look, this is going to be your next week. Someone is waiting. Hassan. Okay, can you see this? CCS Finance 1, research proposal specification. Okay, this is the third assignment. Okay, I have only given you 3. Assignment 1, Assignment 2, SLR. Assignment 1 is more critic. Assignment 3, which is this one, is research proposal specification. Okay, sorry, research proposal, which you need to do research proposal from chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Okay, even though you do this, okay, you're not going to submit this for your next semester when you're going to do your research proposal. Okay, no. Okay, what you will do, this one is as a part of your, even you are doing master mix mode, you will use this for enhance your submission. Okay, for CCS 599. Okay, for those who are in a student who are doing PhD, you can do this, and then later you can use them and then modify for using chapter 4 and submit as research proposal review and things like that, if it is up to that standard. If not, normally this is going to be just an assignment work. Okay, but what I always encourage students, please concentrate and do this, because you are going to kill 2 birds in 1 stone, because you will save a lot of time if you really concentrate and do this properly. Okay, and that's the reason why I give you the time of the submission also quite long, which is more than 1 month, 21st January 2022. Okay, so what you need to do is the specification here, I put it very, the outcome of this to write and present a research proposal in preparation for dissertation and thesis proposal defense. It may not be the final proposal, okay, but it should form the basic skeleton of your dissertation or thesis proposal. Sorry, 1 minute, I asked my kids to keep quiet. Sorry for that, sorry, okay. So 3 of them, that's why the sound is quite high pitched there behind. Okay, so if you look in this, it's very clearly states what you're supposed to do. And I also will cover the skeleton. Okay, I will mention it, what you should have in your thesis. I give you one template and I will explain every single things. So basically your task is to get this ready. Okay, research for your dissertation topic in PDF. Since we cannot meet face to face to present, you will have to prepare a recording of your presentation of your proposal. The duration of your presentation should not exceed 7 minutes. You will need to prepare slide for your presentation. Okay, this is the requirement. There's no specific format for your report, but a general set of requirement can be found. Okay, this one I will give you also. Okay, and the main thing that you need to submit is going to be your proposal report in PDF format, a recording of your presentation, and your presentation slide in PDF format. Okay, so this is the requirement for your research proposal. Okay, you can have a look. I think I already uploaded this last week. So anticipated frequently asked question, you can check on that. Okay, no fixed number, but the best to be not more than 10 pages, but best to be more than 10 pages, excluding all this one, but not more than 40 pages, because it involves chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. Okay, so you can use them. Normally not double, 1.5 space is good enough. Should I base my review? Not a specific numbers, but as a rule of thumb, try to get around 5 to 10 related reference, and which is updated one, which is maybe 5 years back. At least you have some very recent one. Okay. So next, after this,
Hello, sir.
yes.
Is it going to be everything about the chapters? That is from chapter 1 to 3. Is it going to be everything you have about chapter 1, everything you have about chapter 2, or in summary?
What do you mean, chapter 1?
No, the format of a proposal.
Format a proposal I will discuss later on. Don't worry. I will discuss. You should have chapter 1. What you should have chapter 2 and chapter 3. That's what you're asking.
That's what I'm asking. Like chapter 1, I know maybe we have introductions, some objective and other things here. Is it going to be summary of an introduction, or everything about the introduction will be there, will be in the proposal?
I don't get your question. What does that mean? What do you mean? Sorry, again.
You know, if some thesis, chapter 1 alone will take maybe more than 10 or 20 pages.
No.
Depending on how.
You
That's
have
what I'm.
more than 10 or 20 pages. Don't worry. So you
Okay, that's what I'm.
so much in the chapter 1. That much for. What's the reason for you to put so much on the chapter 1? If you follow exactly the one I'm going to give you, actually, I'm sharing here again. Can you see this?
Okay, I'm seeing it, sir.
Already the template here. Okay, I will explain this in the second part.
No problem, sir.
If I can finish explain this in the chapter second part, then I will see. Okay,
Thank you,
so
sir. No,
what you should have. Okay, so starting even from the first page, what is the list of figures and all that. Then from your chapter 1, you're starting from your abstract, then only you go from chapter 1. Okay, so your chapter 1 introduction. Under the introduction, after that you have background, motivation. So let me explain in the second half. Okay, after your prayers.
no problem, sir. No problem, sir.
Okay, did I answer your question, right? So it's basically your chapter 1, and you don't talk all about what you call introduction. You need to talk all these. Okay.
That is
So
my question, sir. You have answered my question, Master.
yeah. So then you go by one. Okay. What is the research objective, research scope? So the skeleton give you a very detailed and very nicely. So then only you talk about related work, which is so basically all this I explained to you. Okay. Okay. Research scope. What is your research scope? Okay. That's where you explain the boundary of your research or something like that. So you go through all this. Understand? In order for you to prepare. Okay. I will go through again one by one, 1.1, 1.4 until all this to cover. Okay. So we meet you again in the second part, which is 7:30. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. See you again at 7:30. Bye bye.
Mhm.
Okay, maybe we can start recording. Okay, this is the second part for research methodology class. So I think I'll cover again about your research proposal. So this is the one guideline that I give you in the what you call in your the thesis. How should it look like? I mean your research proposal, obviously, and you can use this as your what you call guideline. You can use this as a template for you to do your research proposal. Okay, it's been brief and not explained nicely and in detail about every single thing, every single session that you should include. But you not strictly need to be follow 100% of it, but it's good for you to enter whatever is not supposed to be there for your research. Okay, so you can start from your what is your research proposal title and then your name. This will be your first page. Then you can. This is normally is how your what you call your thesis will be on the cover page. Okay, your name and then School of Computer Sciences, University of Science Malaysia, and submission year. Okay, in your case, let's say you are going to submit this year, so next year is 2022. Okay, and then again, I think I don't want to go very detail about this. Your research proposal again, and then your name, and then you go for table of content. Okay, if you look under the table content, you look every single thing that we're supposed to have. Okay, and over here we only mention abstract. It's supposed to be another one. It's supposed to be in English and also Malay language. Okay, one is in English, one is in the Malay. For timing, you can only do English. Later on, you need to modify it for your original thesis. You need to have English abstract and also been translated to Malay language. Okay, that is only one page which is going to be in a Malay language. For those international students, don't worry. Normally, your supervisor can help on that. You can do a simple one after your abstract. You can translate them. But Google Translate is not 100% correct. Sometimes you can give a wrong interpretation from English to Malay. Okay, so always double check with your supervisor, ask him or her to help in the abstract part, or even you can ask your friend or even your this one who are especially those students coming from Malaysia and things like that. Okay, if you since you are COVID and you don't see anybody around and you don't have any friend from Malaysia, maybe you can rely on your supervisor. Okay, and next for your chapter is supposed to be minimum chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. For research methodology student, okay, you are going to use this for your CCS 599, which is next semester. So this is very important for you, and also for proposal student for research proposal PhD student, also important for you because you're going to use this as a for your presentation for your thesis proposal review. Okay. So in the introduction, you need to have background of your motivation why you want to do this title. Even though the title could be from your supervisor, you can create some kind of motivation for you why you want to have that title first place to do this research. And then you explain in a research problem. So we go in a sentence about what is all about in a problem. And then you try to highlight what is your objective and also research scope. Okay, I do give you an explanation what is the each and every single session of this chapter 1 and also chapter 2 and chapter 3. Okay, and then related work. Okay, some student can use the related work and as it is, or you can also use SLR part of your chapter 2. Okay, where you mention it as systematic review part of your related work. Or other way around, you can have your overall what is going on in your related work in terms of the sufficient or fundamental idea about your work, and then you go straight about talking about how to you try to introduce whatever related to the your research, so that you want to guide author or sorry the reader or the people who read your thesis about the issue that is in a recent literature and things like that. Okay, and mostly in the related work, we always appreciate and also evaluate a point where we want to see about your point of view, about your insight, not only the what you call the summary of other people's work. Okay, you need to give your insight, your synthesization of the work of other works. Okay, and also normally I go even go in detail about the discussion and things like that. I like to see what is the author stand rather than just cite or just reference what's the related work all about. Okay. Next, you need to cover one chapter which is called as a chapter 3, which is a research methodology. Okay, and in the research methodology, you need to mention every single stuff in the research methodology that involves, as mentioned earlier, what you should have. Okay, how you're going to carry out research methodology, even in terms of research methodology, research method, and also the design, the data set that involve, and every single thing you put it here in your research methodology. And normally for this one, we don't really ask what is a proposed simulation plan, but you can have them in your chapter 4. Okay, but for next, when you really want to do your thesis, you don't put chapter 4 as a proposed simulation plan. Normally you will have maybe the result analysis and also discussion in chapter 5 and things like that. So depending on your thesis, okay? So appendices depend on whatever things that you think that relevant, but is not in your thesis, but can be as part of your appendix. Okay. So like normally this kind of thing, let's say even survey form. Okay, if we have survey form and things like that, you put it in the appendix. Okay, as a part of your reference. So you can go through this. Okay. Sorry. Okay, supposed to be more. Right? I think. I explained. Yeah, sorry. Earlier, I missed that part. So basically, if you look, I already give what you call explanation of every single stuff. Let's say the abstract. Abstract need to be only one page. Remember this, okay? Your abstract should be only one page. Don't go beyond that. Okay, the maximum is one page. Make it the rule of thumb. Abstract should be only one page. Okay. There is a student came out. I think last Viva that I attended as an examiner. The student go and put it the abstract as a 2-page. Straight away the examiner pinpoint, there's supposed to be only one page, the maximum, even the maximum you can go 1.5 page. But as a guideline, it's good to have only one page for abstract. Don't exceed more than one page. Every single thing has been highlighted what is supposed to be here. So use this as your Bible, as your guideline for your thesis writing, okay? And do not use first person reference or we say third pronoun name, I, you, we. Don't use them in your thesis. I, you, we. Never ever use that word in your thesis. I would like to investigate further, something like that. Don't do it in a better way, different way of presenting them. You cannot use them. Don't use I, you, and we. Okay, earlier one student asked introduction, is it all the introduction in chapter 1? Okay, if you look, that's why I say introduction is all every time you will introduce or introduction about the section or even about the chapter. So you can do that based on the particular chapter. Okay, and then in the detail of the chapter you can mention. But normally for chapter 1, what we will cover is about your background for 1.1, and then you go straight to your research problem and then your research objective. Okay, if you look, it's quite standard and quite straightforward for this one. And normally you go for objective 1, 2, and 3. That's the maximum that I mentioned. You can follow me or you can follow your supervisor, but try to play the card well so that you make it only 3 objectives. Don't go beyond that. But you always are welcome to do more than that. I don't discourage you from doing that. Sorry, there's some question coming in. I didn't see the question. Sorry for that. Let's see what's the question. Chat. Can you use recording, please? I do recording already. Yes. Just now Kevin already asked. Yes. Doctor, can use like the research investigate about? Yes, can. The research or this research, something like that. No problem. Okay. But don't use I, you, we. You try to be open. Try to be general, and then let the reader try to read. Don't to be very self-centered. That's the reason. Okay. Any question here? And then you go for research scope. As all this been covered before, but even for the paper, you need to go through one by one. Okay. Any question that you want to ask? So I give it this for your submission is 21st of January. I do expect it's going to be, it's not enough time to pressure yourself. What you are going to submit here compared to the one. But end of the day, if especially for master mixed mode, you don't have much time. If you register CCS 599 next semester, you need to start immediately after end of the semester. Okay, that's the reason why I will have one class, okay, to replace the class that I missed earlier. I will have one class, okay, which is on the 4th of February, okay. On the 4th of February, we will have one class with me, okay. I will ask you to explain about what you call CCS, what is the journey after this, okay, and when you supposed to submit a pre-registration, when you need to submit, because as soon next semester, first week of the semester, you already start to present midterm CCS 591. Sorry, 599. You already present the first week of that particular semester. You already start to present. So you will work during the semester break. You got it? So that's why the calendar start early than the what supposed to be the academic calendar for CCS 599. For PhD student, you will continue your journey with your supervisor based on your supervisor demand and things like that. Okay, any question now? No, Dr. Faratul don't have that. That will be 15, week 15. If happen, then I will do in Thursday night. Don't worry, I will discuss and make sure that it's a Dr. Faratul will have a 7 weeks lecture as well. So it will depend on the Dr. Faratul last class. When is the last class? Okay, if Dr. Faratul last class is 4th of February, then we will do on a Thursday or maybe a day after that. Okay. Thank you, Kevin. So you get up-to-date announcement all in the e-learn, and also your communication still continue with the what you call the WhatsApp group, and also the not the WhatsApp group. Is it the one WhatsApp group? Yes, we have WhatsApp group. So I will add Dr. Faratul by this week. Then Dr. Faratul will be in that group as well, in the WhatsApp group. So she will share. So starting from next week, she will continue with you on the chapters they're supposed to be. Okay. Any question? I go through one by one here. So in order for you to understand, even though you can read yourself, but I highlight a very important point. Okay. So for related work, it's not necessarily you have to follow exactly this format. No, depending on how you want to design your thesis all about, but minimum skeleton is this is the minimum skeleton. You need to have this minimum. You want to change here and there, it's okay, allowed, but it's depending on your supervisor's permission, and also how you going to design your thesis all about. It's very important. Okay, main idea, you want the reader to, it's like a story, okay? You want them to really alert what's happening from chapter 1, guide them to chapter 2, and then don't make them, missing or lost in the suddenly in the woods or something like that. So depending on what you try to explain, so you need to make sure they are really alert with your research. Okay, you cannot make them laugh in your research. Obviously, that is not the point. But the thing is, you want them to be attractive. You need to have some interesting point for them to carry on and read your research. Okay. So in the literature review, if you look, most of the time we always want you to highlight. Okay, try to don't only summary other people's papers. Try to see how you're going to give your storyline. Okay, in a research review, let's say any topic, you have any topic? Someone doing about crime prediction. Okay, they want to talk about crime prediction. Okay, and maybe they focus from the crime prediction, and then slowly what is all about crime prediction, and then they slowly talk about hotspot. Okay, how can determine the hotspot of the prediction and things like that. So you go one by one, step by step, and then people understand what is all about in the area of a crime prediction and what is your focus. Okay, so you need to guide this one. Even your chapter 1, you already do that. You go to chapter 2, you need to. Abu Bakar has raised a hand. Yes, Abu Bakar? Abu Bakar, you want to
Sorry, doctor, it's a mistake. Sorry.
Okay, okay. No problem. But it's a nice way of, if you want to ask question, you raise a hand. Huh? Very good. Okay. So if you look in a related work, you can do that. Okay. If you can explain to the people what is actually you are going to do, but using the justification, using the literature to support. You give a small introduction or fundamental of the work before you go in your detail about your research. Okay. But as I mentioned earlier, in your related work, don't put it too general, too common things, as it is going to be like a textbook material. So that is not good. You need to be very careful with that as well. You have to careful way and select which literature are differently relevant to your topic. So obviously this could be a challenging task. Okay, normally your supervisor also can help. But don't go empty hand with your supervisor. Every single time, give your supervisor work as well. But how you want to give your supervisor works means you need to do your work. If you don't do your work, your supervisor don't do your work, don't do his work, because it's your research. It's not your supervisor's research. So if you already have things, okay, so you can go and talk to your supervisor. Sir, I already have one like this and chapter 2 like this. What is your feedback? So your supervisor look at it and then you give. You cannot get immediate response. Maybe it will take some time, but always you have, when you have black and white, you always get better result of what you are doing. Okay. The overall picture, you can also show the overall picture of what you are actually focusing on. What is this one? Some students go to the extent they shows it very nicely, illustrate them. Okay, this is what is going on based on the diagram, and then what is actually their research all about. They highlight them very nicely, and then they focus on that part. So it depends on your creativity how you're going to do that. Okay. Any question? Sunny, just join. Please watch the recording, Sunny. It's very important part which is you need to do for your this one. Okay, this one is a ways of how they do in the taxonomy of review. Okay, and then it shows based on the each and every single part. Okay, some of the result in your SLR you can put on a later work. It shows some kind of a better understanding. So you're going to present your part of your what they call maybe a conference paper or even a journal. So you cannot put totally your SLR here, but some part you rephrase them and put it here. If not, it's going to be self-plagiarized. That's what happening with Umair. Umair now confused because a lot of things that you do, you publish. So now you need to, when you want to write the thesis, you already confused whether you can take and put it here exactly as it is. No, you cannot do that because Turnitin will highlight. Turnitin will give allowance up to 20%. If more than 20%, they will say you are doing plagiarized. The thesis is not original. So you need to do that. Okay. Any question until now? So depend on wise, it depend on what technique. Even if you want to talk about, let's say in your data set, you want to look on the technique that they use. You want to discuss each and every single technique. Also allowed, but if you want to focus only certain technique, and you need to justify why you focus only that certain technique. Okay, then you try to highlight, try to discuss what is you see in a pro and cons on that particular technique, and why you want to choose this technique, or you want to compare between these two techniques, or even to hybrid these two techniques. Why? So all this depending on your thesis all about. Discussion, if the review is long, says extending over 20 pages, this is not likely for your pre-proposal report. It perhaps advisable to discuss the significant or crucial views and controversial into discussion section. Here's a final thought of the chapter. So obviously, if you look, when you do SLR, you won't put the SLR totally in as your chapter 2. Okay, but a lot of result from your SLR will, but your what do you call, your reference will show to SLR. So people, if you want to read more about the literature review, they go to that particular SLR. So your SLR going to be a very important component in your thesis, even though it don't be there, but people will credit because part of your publication, they know it's already published in the SLR and you do SLR, so people will appreciate your contribution on that. Okay, that's the reason I really agree and I really humbly request you to do SLR. It will be tiring, but it's very important process. You won't regret, okay? Believe me, you won't regret. You will be satisfied, you'll be happy, and you'll be thankful, me and Umair, at the end of the day, okay? Any question until now? Today's class, a lot of, I'm asking you any question, yeah?
Sir, I have one question.
Yes, please, Divan.
Sir, for this submission, right, do we get Turnitin links?
What's that, sorry?
Will you provide the Turnitin links for this submission, or it won't?
Never ever put Turnitin. Okay, Turnitin only check on the right, on the last page where you are going to do. Okay, I won't do anything now. Don't worry. You only do Turnitin during your final submission. The reason why, if you do submission now, you check on the Turnitin now, and then you check again later, your percentage will be higher. They will consider that also as a plagiarism, which is they recorded as this is previously already been recorded, and then suddenly you have another time. So that's the reason. More, I don't know how it works, but the frequency also makes the Turnitin numbers goes up. But it will be, yes, obviously you can argue them, okay, this is not right, this is not the right way of the system works, but you can get back what this is yours, this is not yours, and things like that at a later stage. But my point is now, don't check, and we don't check your Turnitin for your research proposal. We only check your research, what you call Turnitin during your this one. It's not you going to check Turnitin. Sheila will do that for Turnitin check, or even Puan Nadia will do that. So they will do that in the school level, and then they give you the result. You need to compile with the result for your submission. You answer your question, Tiban?
Yes.
So you don't need the link
Based on
of
that,
the
so for example, like no, sir, based on the Turnitin, right, you say we need to submit to Sheila, right? So once we get the report, let's say Turnitin, like the plagiarism percentage, so will they be notifying the students to
this is when your submission, not now, right? You are asking for when your submission for your final. Yes. Normally, what we do before you go to Viva, we already have the report of the Turnitin. Okay. Normally, the Turnitin result will mention to the supervisor first. Okay. If it is unsatisfactory, normally it won't happen lah, unless you copy and it's very clear. You copy from somewhere, it go up more than 30. If you don't copy, it's obviously less than 20 for sure. Okay, it's happened last semester also that a student, and then the students admit that she copied most of the thing because she managed failed to get the system up to be up again. So end up she failed the whole thesis, and she cannot re-register again because she already finished the candidature period. So sad, but that's the happening. So your question is now, is it the school will reveal the Turnitin result? Yes, the school, there's nothing wrong to reveal that. That's for the sake, for the good, for the students' benefit. But normally we will try to help the students. Okay, let's say the Turnitin shows 28, but the school cutoff time, maybe that time, normally we don't disclose this much, but normally schools, they say 20, okay? So it's only 28%, and you have been said it's been highlighted. So we will mention to the student and also supervisor, try to reduce the numbers and try to cover up. Okay, that means maybe you just copy them. You need to replace them, the word by word. So sometimes happen to be. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so it depends on the papers. Okay, sometimes happen. Last semester there are students who did that and smartly what she do, and I shouldn't say this, but I try because it's a benefit for you. Also, don't try to do that. She put it in a picture format. She put it in a table format. When you put it in the table format, Turnitin don't detect them, but the examiner detect. You understand? She copied and she put it in a what you call table form. When you put it in table form, Turnitin doesn't take them to the count of the percentage. But the examiner highlight every single page where he copy and from which reference. So don't take the chance because some examiner are very, very detailed. They go up to this extent to check every single word to see what, especially if their area and this one, they already maybe go through that. Because let's say in software engineering, okay, let's say in the software engineering, imagine I read that things for 4 years, the area, okay, and suddenly I see the chapter. It seems like similar where I already read before. It happened. It will trigger you back, so you can easily Google back or try to look at the paper. Maybe the sentence is exactly the same. So something like that. So normally, don't take the chance lah. If you do yourself, you don't need to think about that. Unless you plan to do that, then you think about that. So if you are doing honestly, work, you don't have a trouble because you don't get to that chance. Proposal, we don't check anything. We only check anything for your final submission. Okay? Final submission. That's why it's very dangerous. Okay? So don't try to do this. So the best practice for you is when you read a paper, any paper, try to get the highlight of the paper. Don't copy sentence to sentence for the paper, unless you want to quote them, but don't overquote the papers. Okay? It's always for you to give your thought, your say in the particular stuff. Any question? It's more to sharing and advice of how you're going to do your research, right? Your end of the day, your research, your thesis is the one carry a lot of weightage. Okay? Even though the school has not the school, the IPS has certain rules about the publication. At the end of the day, the publication just certain site requirement, not the main requirement. Main requirement is your. Any question? Good. There are some question. Do you mean the teaching, the Raji? Wait, I need to check the Raji question. Hold on. Do you mean that the Turnitin check that that's supposed to be, but you can argue that okay, the result is obviously you can always you can challenge the result, okay, but if you do that, we try to avoid to challenge the result because we strictly follow the result as well, okay. But normally as a school we try to help you to the student so that you don't get trapped unless you really, even though we already make it anything check and then you try to make it in the table form and then the examiner try to catch that this is wrong and what is it been highlighted, then it's, nobody can help you, especially during your viva if you do that. So we don't want to talk that lah. We don't want to focus on how to make the system fail, right? Don't worry about that. Okay, you do your job and research and learn properly and then deliver things. That's all. Don't worry about much about Turnitin. Turnitin won't happen that much for most of the students. 90% of the student always clear. Only 10% of student has this problem. Okay, even that is also rare. Okay, after certain first round, then okay already. Any question? So don't worry about a lot of Turnitin. Okay. Any question that you want to ask, then you can go through this. I think this is a very details, and then you can check on that and try to do your this one. Obviously, your supervisor also play a role to check on your storyline, how to design. Sometimes you maybe put 3.1 this, 3.2 this, 3.3 this. Maybe your supervisor has the right to say, okay, we don't want this 3.3 or try to jumble up and things like that. Even you already finished, especially for PhD thesis, okay? Sometimes happen to be some thesis we corrected. I mean, the supervisor maybe don't really happy, but we corrected so that we redesign back, goes from the chapter 3 point something goes to chapter 2 or something like that. We redesign back based on the flow. Okay, that is normally is a major correction. If that is the case, it will be major correction. Okay. Any question? So your supervisor also play a role, and then you need to build a good relationship with your supervisor. Very important in order for you to get maximize of the service of him, because your supervisor is a lot of us. It's not only you, the one, the student. He might have a lot of student in his basket, okay. But you need to make sure he also give some attention on you. In order to do so, you always bring some work that you already did. If you go empty hand, obviously he cannot help you much. Okay, and every time you have a record in the emails and things like that, to keep track of that record, what he asked, because the supervisor might have flight of ideas. Very important, even me, okay? If you are under me also, sometimes I say this next week, 2 weeks, you come, I will expect something else. So you always we keep track. Normally in the research, now I have Umair, so I'll do as he's a team leader. Normally you keep track and things like that. I do also evaluate. Now normally when I like this semester, I take 3 students from the master students from this group, okay, and I have Umair as a PhD student, and then one more student coming in next semester as a PhD full-time student. So it's enough for me. I don't want too many. I don't want quantity wise. I want quality wise. But if the student really don't have supervisor and things like that, normally if in this area, which is software engineering, I cannot take the student from the network and things like that. It's wrong. Okay, for software engineering, and the student is willing to do the research, yes, of course, I will take. But the thing is, I always guide and supervise and based on the research. Now we already like a team. The action. So what we do every 2 weeks, we want to have a like a team meeting. Then we go like if there's any problem in the individual, I will have a 1-to-1 session. So it depends. Last time is in the live, be easy to connect because we have a lab where we have a group of the students. Normally we do like a lab. We try to have a certain we call us a brown bag. That's from my style, from where I study in Cyclide. We normally have during lunch, you bring your lunch and then eat while we can talk and discuss about your problem, what is happening in your research, what is normally you want to speak out to others. It's good in a group of a team, okay, when you deal. If you yourself alone, normally, especially for PhD journey, you feel disappointed. Sometimes you feel there's nowhere you can voice it out. What is your problem? So that is difficult thing. I do understand. So if you have that kind of things, please get some kind of friends or those who are close to you in the research group so that you can discuss with them. Don't go and talk to those who are already almost want to give up. So you already almost want to give up. You want to talk to those who already give up. So you will end up both of you going to give up. Go to someone who are doing right way. He published in order to publish 2, he published 4. In order to finish in 5 years, he finished in 3 years. Those kind of guidelines. I mean, the mentor that you want to have in your team. So you have some kind of a positive booster for you. Okay, not the one going to fail, those who are teach you how to cheat the system and things like that. Please avoid them. Okay. Okay, if there's no question, that's all. I think there's nothing much. Okay, my humble request is here, whether you know how do the assignment or not, please submit for assignment 1, assignment 2, and also your research proposal. Okay, that's the minimum for you to pass. Another thing, to get a good grade, especially those who are coming from master, you want a good grade, you want this one, please SLR and your research proposal in the right manner, right way. Okay, so that you have score better. And I don't have any exam component. Dr. Farruto will have a test component, which is 10% you will get from her. So she more on a empirical research. Okay, so my side is more to theory and also how to do your research in a basic research methodology. She will be more on empirical, how to deal with the quantitative, okay, how to deal with all these analysis, ANOVA test, testing, all this, she will do that. Okay. Okay, you still can keep in touch with me, not only for this semester, after this, okay, obviously you're going to keep in touch with me, especially those who are in the master mix mode, you will get with me, and those who are in research, PhD, if you are not my student, you always are welcome to talk to me or even message me if you have any problem, okay? What is the process, what is the solution that you can take to solve the problem? Okay, if you don't have any question, we're going to end this session, which is a very short one. If you have, please allow me to ask. You can ask any question starting from now. Any question? Thank you, Babu Bakar. Thank you. Thank you for your positive remark. I do understand sometimes I do apologize because I'm quite fast the way I deliver the lecture. Okay, and I do apologize for sometimes there's a late of coming in. Okay, some noise behind because work from home. Sorry for that. All this I really humbly say sorry. I also wish you all the best and good luck. You always will be in my eyes. You will be always in my heart, and also, and please keep in touch so that you are always there for us to help you. Okay, don't stay in the room and don't keep it to yourself. What's the problem and all that? Okay, please share what's the problem. And before you leave, okay, please make sure you what do you call I need to check on this. Okay, before you leave, sorry. There are some students that I see is not appearing. One is Tang Wei Jian. Are you there? This is not appearing at all. I think it's dropped. Okay. Tang Wei Jian. Are you there? No, right? And another one, the one I see is Sri Chakravati. Are you there, Sri Chakravati Devadas? It's not for this class. Sri Chakravati Devadas, because I saw quite very minimum this name. Okay, any question?
Sir, he went to toilet. He's my class. He's my friend. Shri.
Sri Chakravati Devadas.
Just a second. Hello, sir.
Are you using the same name or
When, sir?
are you using the same name, is it? Same name
Same
in
name.
your WebEx. What name you use as a ID to enter?
Shri.
Sri.
Yep.
I don't see Sri ID in the WebEx. In the first session, you've been there?
Yeah, I was there.
Now I'm talking to Devan or Sri.
No. Now you're talking to Shri. I had issue with my modem, so I had to reconnect back.
So two of you in the same room, is it?
Yep.
You are staying in the USM.
No, we are actually roommates. We are working in Intel, working from home. So we.
Oh, no wonder, because every time I see sometimes your name is not there. I mean, you're sharing in one, is it? Both of you.
Yep. Due to laptop issues, actually.
Okay. So now who's I'm talking to?
Yeah, speaking to Shri, sir.
Can you show both of your face here?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Sorry for that.
Yeah.
Or both of you in Intel.
Yes, sir.
So Sri background?
Sure. Electrical electronics, sir.
Electrical electronics. So you get your supervisor ready?
I haven't found actually. That's a problem actually because I messaged a couple of lecturers since the question is interesting, and then they are telling me that they want a candidate who's not working so that they can fully focus and all that.
Oh, okay. Who is
Yeah, so due to, I don't think it would be right if I mention the name.
okay, what the topic that you are doing now?
Okay, I want.
Computer science, what is the topic you're plan to do?
Okay, there was this one particular topic which was talking about finding the stress level among working people.
Stress level in the working people. Why don't you approach Dr. Shaira?
Actually, thanks for the suggestion. I think I'll go for it. Okay,
Yeah, Dr. Shaira is a lot of doing a motion and things like that, and she will be very happy to accept you. Try to contact her. I mentioned this in the class.
Okay, sure.
Email immediately to her, and then she will get reply. Okay, I also put a word to her. Don't worry.
Okay,
Okay.
sir, sure.
Okay. Thank you. Any
Yes, sir.
still have this kind of problem? You can mention here. Raji, I know your problem, so we try to help you as well. So the rest, can you fill up your supervisor name for those who don't have your supervisor? Please write your supervisor name. Sheikh Rahman, I'm your supervisor, right?
Yes, doctor.
Please write the name as well. Kai Jing Bai. Kai Jing Bai. Kai Jing Bai, are you there? Kai Jing Bai, are you there? Sris, yes. Better off the recording, yeah. Okay, so I just want to do some cleaning of you. Sorry, before you leave, please wait for a while before I this one. Okay, I stop the recording, and then we can do some cleaning. I need to do some cleaning before we leave. Sorry for that. Kai Jing Bai, are you there, Kai Jing Bai? If not, then I put N for today. Trevor Chong Cheese 10. Ali Kazalia. Ali.
Yes, doctor. Yes, I'm here. I was
Ali?
out in the last week.
Okay, who's your supervisor?
You.
But why you don't put my name? Why all my own student don't want to put my name?
Okay, I will do it now.
Later put my name, okay? Wang
Okay, I will.
Wang Jiao. Wang Jiao also is here, but is missing now in action. Wang Jiao, are you there? Sometimes your friend fill up for you, is it? Just because I don't really serious on this. Kang Zin.
Yes, doctor, I'm here.
Kang Zin, who's your supervisor, Kang Zin?
I'm Wang Li Pei.
Wang Li Pei, okay.
Yes, yes.
I put for you.
Thank you.
Dr. Wang Li Pei, okay. What do you
Yes.
with Dr. Wang Li Pei? Optimization?
Yes.
What you're doing, optimization, is it? Kang Zin?
I'm here.
Yeah, what you do with what's your plan for your research?
Wait. Yeah, he talk about learn.
Okay, good. Support. Is
We are
Again,
thank you.
he's still missing in the lecturer's supervisor. I do understand. Lee Teng Fei.
Yes, doctor, I'm here.
Raji, I put your attendance, Raji. Week and last week already here. Okay, Raji?
Doctor?
Yeah. Lee Teng
Supervisor is Dr. Wang Lipei.
Dr. Wang Lipei. 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 Don't know the right?
Teacher, are you
Yes.
putting supervisor's name in the...
I put
Oh, yes, thank you.
in. I pronounce correctly your name? In Yu Yang? Are you there? In Yu Yang. In Yu Yang. Can I see you? Is anybody there? In Yu Yang? Even in the WebEx, I cannot see you. In Yu Yang? In Yu Yang, are you there? In Yu Yang. In the WebEx, you don't appear. Okay. Zin Lee. Yes, Queen who's the supervisor?
Dr. Tan.
Dr. Tan Tien Ping.
Yes, yes.
Tan Tien Ping. PNG. Dr.
yes. I put it on the Google Docs.
Okay, you update later. Thank you. Liu Ji.
Yes, Dr. I'm here.
Who's your supervisor?
Dr. Panty.
Antia.
Yes.
Okay. Chenki.
Yes.
Chenki, are you there? I saw again Chenki. That's very good. Please update later, okay? You need to remember your supervisor name.
Yes, yes. Fedra. AD.
Oh, Dr. Farah.
Yes, yes.
She will be teaching you later. Her name is Faratul. Okay. When we ho, who's your supervisor?
Dr. Panti.
Panti, Dr. Pantia.
Pantia. Okay.
Last time, and then she's from, not mistake, is from, and then lecturer. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Shri, I say Dr. Shah just now. You maybe can Sharif, no Shaira. Approach. Pang Suyuding. Pang Suyuding.
Hi, sir.
Supervisor, please.
Haven't decided.
Oh, please decide. It's already.
Okay, sure.
And what's your area?
Maybe on learning or something.
Yeah, because it's not you. Sometimes you choose, but your supervisor maybe already full. So don't. You will.
Sure.
And they won't cannot do next semester. Be shuffle up and try to stay up on that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Pull your socks. Okay. Jiangsun Jiao. Jiang. Jiang is anyone? Haijing is not here. Haijing is not here. Okay. So,
Doctor.
Haijing, are you here?
Doctor. Supervisor is Wang Lipei. But my graduation topic, he gave me 3 exams, but which one hasn't been decided yet.
Who's talking to you here?
Kang Xin. My name is Kang Xin.
Haijing, oh, this one. Okay.
Yes.
Dr. Wang Lipei.
Yes. But the graduation topic is not decided yet.
Okay. So not at least you
Yes. He gave me 3 exams. I will be choose one.
please choose as fast as you can and then discuss with him. Okay.
Yes. I choose.
No, you don't need to send to me. Don't worry. But just I want to update so that I don't need to know your title now. Just to update that you don't have a supervisor or not. Chong,
Just now is Kang Xing, not Kai Jing.
Kang Xin.
Just now is Kang Xing, not Kai Jing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Lucky you helped me. Thank you. Because my WebEx, I cannot see who I'm talking to. Okay, thank you, Kelvin. Thank you. So this one is the one I'm talking to, Kang Xin, right? Okay, so if that is the case, okay, we are good. So Raji, I know the case. Zin, I don't know what is the case. Sri, I know the case. Pang, I already know she's not decided yet. Jiang Zun. So not coming today, so maybe you can contact later. Okay, thank you. That's all for today. Thanks for your time and wish you all the best. Good luck. See you then. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Grove. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Bye.
Good night. You